All right. So just an introduction about myself. My name is Amrita Kelkar. I'm the Customer Wow Specialist within the Desk.com support team. And today I'm going to be talking about Desk Connect with all of you. So we're actually going to go over three things today. One is the training, where I'm going to show you some slides and explain what Desk Connect is all about and about integrating with Salesforce. After that, we move over to the question and answer session, where if you can post any questions, I'm going to be answering them. And then the third thing is record on demand. This webinar is actually being recorded right now, and we'll be posting the recorded webinar online. So you guys can always go back to it and see for any questions or just refer to it anytime. All right, let's get started. So what is Desk Connect? Desk Connect is basically a bidirectional sync between Desk and Salesforce, where you have your three standard objects: account, contact, and case, syncing between the two organizations. And you also have case interactions with sync from Desk to Salesforce and back from Salesforce to Desk. And the best part about Desk Connect is that it also lets you create reports and dashboards on cases from Desk inside of Salesforce. So basically, it's just a bidirectional sync that lets you sync your account, contact, and case objects. Why do we need Desk Connect? Desk Connect is required or can be used when you have sales and service and you need to connect the two teams. So basically, for the sales team, it helps you give a better insight when talking to customers. You can address your customer problems quicker and then predict customer issues and be proactive. That's because if let's say, for example, if your sales team is using Salesforce, and your support team is using Desk.com, then for them to communicate with each other, we can use Desk Connect, where all of the cases that are available in Desk can also be made available in Salesforce. So that's how the sales team will benefit from this feature. For the services team would have a better understanding of what the customer is about and what the sales team, what information the sales team has about this customer, so they can have better conversations with customers on cases. They can also have a full view of the customer history. So for example, you can learn more about the customer use cases from the sales rep who actually spoke to the customer the first time. So that information can be got over from Salesforce into Desk, and the service rep can actually take a look at the customer history. And then obviously be more efficient, give in-time service, take a look at their issues in time, and make sure that all of them are taken care of. These are the important things to consider when you're trying to enable Desk Connect for your account. Things to consider pre-enablement are that your Salesforce customer edition should be professional edition and above. In Salesforce, you need to make sure that your case priority values are always high, medium, and low. Your case status values should only be new, open, pending, and resolved. These are the default values that we have in Desk. That's why we recommend that your case status values in Salesforce also be the same. Your your desk plan should be professional or above, because Desk Connect is only supported for pro plans and above. And object mapping. So basically, we provide a direct sync between customer and contact objects, and a sync between company and your Salesforce account, and then the Desk case is synced with the Salesforce case directly. And the best part about this is the standard case object is visible within layouts. In the demo, I'll actually be showing you how to include the case object within the contact and account layouts. Okay, I think. All right, so important things to consider post-enablement. Now that you've enabled Desk Connect for the account, we just need to remember these points going forward so that we have a smooth integration between Desk and Salesforce. So one thing we need to remember is only new and edited records are synced, meaning that once you enable Desk Connect, you'll only be able to sync records that are new or have been edited. So newly created cases or contacts and accounts can be synced over to Desk, as well as updated cases, contacts, and accounts can be synced over as well. The integration works off of the standard case object, so your Desk.com cases will actually be syncing directly with the standard case object in Salesforce. Syncing times. For the sync from Desk to Salesforce is immediate, so whenever you update a case in Desk, you should be able to see the same case in Salesforce within no time. However, from Salesforce to Desk, it can take about 5 minutes. Standard field mappings. Here are the standard field mappings that are required for Desk and Salesforce to actually sync cases from one org to the other. For case, it's status, priority, subject, and description. These fields are automatically synced between Desk and Salesforce without any intervention. For the contact object, we have name, title, phone, and email that can be synced over. And for the account, we have only the account name that syncs over between Desk and Salesforce. Of course, apart from the standard fields, we also have custom field mappings where if you had any custom fields in Salesforce, you could actually create the same Desk custom fields and then map the two together under Desk Connect field mappings. Currently, we have the 4 types of fields that can be mapped. One of them is text. The text type in Salesforce maps with the text in Desk. The pick list type in Salesforce actually maps with the list type in Desk. The checkbox in Salesforce can map with the true and false, which is the Boolean field in Desk. And the date type field syncs with the date type field in Desk. Case number is actually not synced by default, but we can always do it using text fields. And I'll be showing you in the demo how to actually sync numbers between Desk and Salesforce using text custom fields. And the best thing about Desk Connect is that it doesn't count against the API. So your API usage is not counted when you're using Desk Connect. All right, so now it's demo time. I'm going to be showing you guys how to enable Desk Connect first, and then we'll go over Salesforce and then take a look at what we need to do in Salesforce and then come back to Desk and we'll see what we need to do in Desk. So the first thing would be to actually make sure that Desk Connect has been enabled. So when you're trying to enable Desk Connect, you need to make sure that your support team or your account executive already knows that Desk Connect needs to be enabled from the configuration settings. Once that is done, you'll receive an email from us that Desk Connect has been enabled for the site. And once you receive an email, you should actually go into the Desk admin and should be able to see a Desk Connect tab right here where my cursor is. And go ahead and click on Desk Connect. And the Desk Connect toggle should be available in the top right corner. It should be turned off for you unless you turn it on. So it's turned on for me right now because it's my demo account, but for you guys, it'll be off. And all you need to do is turn it on. Once you turn it on, there'll be like a 30-second counter counting down. And let's give it some time to count down until 0. The time it takes for the countdown is basically the time it takes for establishing all of those field relationships between Desk and Salesforce. So it's basically establishing a connection between Salesforce and Desk, trying to map the standard fields together, trying to locate the case, contact, and account records. So after that is done, you should be able to see the screen right here. And there are 3 tabs here: company, customer, and case. So basically, like I said, Desk Connect is a bidirectional sync where it lets you sync between company, customer, and case objects. So for the company tab, we have 2 syncs: Salesforce to Desk and Desk to Salesforce. You can either choose them to be, both of them to be on, or one of them could be off as well if you did not want one of the syncs. Same applies to the customer tab. You can have Salesforce to Desk off and Desk to Salesforce on, which obviously means that if you don't want contacts coming over from Salesforce to Desk, you can turn this off here. And then the last one is the case. Same applies to the case. It's recommended that we keep the Salesforce to Desk and Desk to Salesforce sync on at all times because our primary objective is to actually sync cases, right? So you need to have both of the syncs on at all times. Once we're done with that, let's go to Salesforce and take a look at what we need to do for the case, contact, and account objects. So the first thing I need to do is go into my setup in Salesforce. And you can either search for your cases from here and search for the fields, and then look for the status and priority field and make sure that this is only such a new, open, pending, and resolved. I do have a closed status here, and that's for testing purposes, but I would recommend that you don't have the closed status in your Salesforce org if you're synchronizing with Desk. So you only need to have new, open, pending, and resolved. Back to case fields. The next field you want to check is the priority field and make sure it's high, medium, and low. We can definitely have custom priority values, but if you have those, then you would need to set up a one-on-one mapping between Desk and Salesforce, and I'll be showing you that in a bit. And the last thing we need to do in Salesforce is just adjust the page layouts for contacts and accounts. So if you guys can see the contact tab in your Salesforce org, go ahead and click on contacts and just open any contact you have in there. So this is one of my test contacts that I'm going to show you guys. And then you should be able to see the edit layout option here if you're the administrator for your account. Go ahead and click on edit layout and make sure that you click on related lists. And in the related lists field, you should be able to see cases. If this is grayed out, it means that the cases list is already on the page layout. So if you can see here, I already have the case related list on the page layout for the contact object. If it doesn't exist, for example, approval history, assets, it doesn't exist on the page layout. So all I need to do is just drag and drop it on the screen below. And go ahead and click save. And that's it. Same applies to accounts. Go ahead and open accounts and just open any account on your page, and then edit layout and related lists, and make sure that cases is actually on the page layout for the account object, and then just click save. So once you do this, go back to Desk and make sure that the field mappings have been set correctly. So the field mapping section basically has two sections. One is the mappable fields, wherein you'll be mapping all of your custom fields, and the other is the non-configurable fields, which actually get mapped automatically. So it's a good idea to do the Salesforce stuff where you make sure that your status and priority fields are in place before you turn Desk Connect on and come to this area here. So you can see how my Salesforce and Desk fields are mapped together. So new is mapped to new, close, just ignore this for now, but you can always map close to resolved. And then pending needs to be mapped to pending, and resolved is mapped to resolved, and open is mapped to open. And your priority values from Salesforce are mapped from a high to a 10 in 10 critical in Desk. The medium is mapped to a 5 in Desk, and the low is mapped to low. So basically how it works is a priority 1 through 4 is actually considered low. 5 through 7 is considered medium, and 8 through 10 is considered high. So your case status or priority will change automatically as the case syncs from Desk to Salesforce. So these are all the standard field mappings that just get mapped, and you don't really need to worry about them. The next is the customer. So the same thing, these are all your custom fields that you can map, and these are your case fields that are mapped automatically. And company, the same thing, you can have your custom fields mapped here, and then your account name and all of that is mapped under the non-configurable fields. And one question that always comes up is, what do you mean by no mappable fields right here? So where I see no mappable fields, one reason is that I do not have a matching custom field created for that field in Desk. The other reason could be that the field is not available for mapping, which means that Desk Connect is not allowing those fields to be mapped. So that's all that you need to remember in field mappings. And then you have your Desk Connect on, and then you can just start testing by creating cases in Salesforce, sending those out to the customer, and then just waiting for those cases to sync over to Desk. Similarly, you can create cases in Desk and then just look the cases up in Salesforce right here. So that's about it for the demo. Now I'm going to be taking some questions. Let's see what questions we have. Okay, the first question is that how do we map the number fields if they're not available for mapping? So let me show you how. So if you can go to Desk Admin and click on Cases, all we need to do is just create some text fields. So I already have some text fields right here. So let's say I have a case custom field called, let me pick a good one. Let's say name. This is my text field. And let's say I change it to like something like phone number. Okay. And I just keep the same, and then it's my text field. And then click update. And keep in mind that if you're creating a text field in Desk, you also need to create a text field in Salesforce. So go into cases and then create a text field. I'm sorry, let's go into setup, customize, cases, and then fields. And then I create a text field from here. So I have a bunch of text fields already created. Let's see, for example, test is a text field. So once I do that, I come back to my field mappings right here. And then I go into the case tab and just map the two fields together. So even if I can use this text type field as a number field as well. All right. Okay, the next question is, we had our session expire and nothing was synced. It happened during the night here in Sydney, Australia, so we didn't realize till later that day. Why would our session expire overnight? How do we avoid that? I'm not really sure what must have gone wrong for the session to expire. One reason could be that if you're having some active issues with Desk Connect and the team is actually working on it, it's possible that they turn Desk Connect off for the moment, and that's the reason your session would have expired. But in all cases, we'll definitely let you know if your session is going to expire. The other is for the agent who's working on the Desk Connect feature, probably the case timed out on that agent and the Desk Connect may have been turned on. But I still need to make sure, get all the data from you to actually investigate why the session may have timed out. So you can always email us offline at support@desk.com or call us on our support number and get in touch with me, and I'll take a look at why your session would have expired. Okay. Looks like we don't have any more questions here. Just wanted to let you know you can always send all of your questions at support@desk.com. And we have a lot of our support agents who are Salesforce experts, and they can take a look at your issue, and they can always impersonate your Salesforce and Desk orgs and take a look at the issue. You can always call us. You can also watch our videos that we have on the support page. We also have a bunch of articles about Desk Connect that you can take a look at. We also have a Desk Connect FAQ page. So there's a lot of ways to get in touch with us. And if you had any more questions, let me know. Okay, we have one more question. So I do not see my cases sync from Desk to Salesforce. How do I make sure that the case is actually syncing out of the case object? That's a very good question. So if you don't see your case from Desk come under the Cases tab here, one good reason for that could be that your view right here, like your filter, is not set up correctly. Oftentimes in Salesforce, we have a lot of agents doing a lot of crazy things like setting up their own filters and such, and you need to make sure that you're looking at the all cases view at all times. For example, if you were looking at the all open cases view and if the case was actually in pending status, you will never be able to see that case from Desk. So one good thing to make sure is you know you're looking at all cases in your Salesforce org. The other good way to check is you go into the Contact tab and search for the email address of the customer. Let's check for my. So that's how I open a contact and then check all cases under this contact right here. So that's another good way. Same you can do with accounts. You can actually check for your own accounts. So let's see, test. And if you know the name of the account, you can check it and then just check cases under it. So that's how you can make sure that your cases have synced to Salesforce. All right, so looks like there are no more questions at this time, but like you guys already know, you can get in touch via email or phone calls, or you can also view our video support center as well as our articles online. And that's it for now.